Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here today. And before I go into my presentations, there's a few things I would like to say. I think, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the colleagues from the region of Lombardy and to the colleagues of EUROPOLIS for having taken on the challenge to do this conference with us. We have worked quite hard by video link between Brussels and Lombardy over the last few months to pull this conference together. And I think I would like to thank the colleagues who have been here sur place, who have really put our discussions into reality. They had the vision of looking at the Rinascimento, the Renaissance aspect, and for me, I think that is the key word that goes through this conference. It's all about the European industrial renaissance. I've been listening with great interest to the various presentations both yesterday and also this morning, and I think particularly this morning the speakers that went before me gave a lot of the key words and a lot of the key issues. And I would just like to make a few comments on that before I then go into my presentation. Should we spend time trying to define and describe emerging industries in great detail? In my recent years in the Commission, I became part of a school who said, we don't really need to focus so much on definitions. We rather have to look at what do we need to do. And I always have this image that I kind of remind myself when we go too far into definitions, that if you look at emerging industries and then compare them to a giraffe, we all know what a giraffe looks like, but just think about if you had to describe it and explain what it was to someone who had never seen one. And I think we all have this feeling that we know what we are talking about, and we all have a feel for what is needed and required. So let's focus on that and on the action rather than keep the discussion going on what is it we are talking about, what is it we are looking at. So that's one aspect I would like to just get out of the way before I start. Another thing I would like to pick up on, there was quite some talk about open innovation, radical innovation as drivers of emerging industries, and we fully agree with that. The one, you could say, remark I would like to make is there was also a lot of talk about research-driven and technology-driven innovation. And that is absolutely right, but I would like to remind all of us that innovation is not only driven by research or technologies. Innovation can happen anywhere, as Joanna Drake said yesterday, and very often there are some creative elements that are not quite captured by the current support systems that we have. So let's keep an open mind and let's really look at it from a view of open innovation and that it can happen anywhere and anyone can do it. A lot of the innovation happens in the companies without support from technologies or from research centers, and we need to be able to also capture and support that. Finally, Gunilla Almgren from UAPME yesterday highlighted that a business would not be a business without a person or persons taking a risk. And when she referred to emerging industries, she also said the risk would be very high. And I think that is the reason we are here. That is why we, who represent the public sector at European, national, regional, and local level, that is our task. Our task is to help minimize the risk and provide the best support for new industries, new activities to emerge so that we really can re-industrialize and revolutionize Europe. And as way of introduction, I would like to go into my presentation. Now, Joanna Drake yesterday highlighted a number of the activities that are related to emerging industries in the Commission, where we are trying to look at them, trying to see what we can do to help them. But we actually have what I would dare call our flagship activity, which is the Horizon 2020 action called Cluster Facilitated Projects for New Industrial Value Chains. Now, it's difficult to say, it's a bit of a mouthful, but in a sense, it explains exactly what it's about. So there is some positive in a long, difficult, tongue-twisting title like that. When we say clusters, I would like to emphasize that, yes, we represent clusters, we have a particular interest in working with clusters and cluster organizations, but it is not an exclusive approach. When we say clusters here, it is shorthand for, you could say, business intermediaries, organizations that represent and support groups of companies, notably SMEs. So there's no exclusivity in that sense. Now, the challenge that we are trying to address is what we have all been talking about yesterday and this morning, about renewing and modernizing the EU's industrial base. And it's about developing long-term, internationally competitive goods and services. So the objective of this new action that we are launching in 2015 is to create new industrial value chains based on crossovers between existing value chains or by supporting the development and the emergence of new industries in Europe. And all this should contribute to regional smart specialization strategies. I think it's very important, and notably in view of the references to the Vanguard Initiative and the meeting that took place yesterday morning of the Vanguard Initiative, that we are not seeing this action as something out of context. It cannot happen on its own. It needs to be anchored in policies at regional and local and national level. So therefore, the smart specialization strategies are central to this action. This action should be a way of implementing these strategies. And how are we going to do it? Well, we're going to support cross-sectoral and cross-border cooperation, and we're going to support innovation activities in SMEs, and we are going to improve the business environment through open collaboration platforms or open spaces for innovation to happen. Now, clusters, the shorthand for other organizations included. The role of clusters in this new action, we see it as promoting cross-border and cross-sectoral cooperation. We see clusters as supporting groups of SMEs in related industries. So we're looking at clusters that are opening up from being strictly sectoral in their approach to being more open to looking at what is happening across the spectrum, rather like looking at who do we need to have on board in order to solve a certain problem. We also look at clusters as facilitators and bridge builders between smart regions. The Vanguard Initiative is a good example of regions that have seen the need for collaborating across borders to achieve the implementation of the smart specialization strategies. And we feel that clusters can help to do that on the ground and to also support those regions that have not thought about doing things outside a sectoral context or outside their own regional context. That here, clusters could be a facilitator to build collaboration across sectors and also across borders between regions in order to open the scope of the activities. Clusters can catalyze, integrate, and multiply cross-sectoral and cross-regional cooperation. And finally, we see clusters as creators or facilitators of open spaces for cross-sectoral fertilization, creating platforms, be they virtual or in the form of matchmaking events, meetings, workshops, etc., to support innovation in SMEs. This, a while back, was my attempt at making a tweet. I'm not very technologically endowed, so I've tried to do them on paper rather than online. But basically, our whole philosophy behind this action comes from something we call a large-scale demonstrator approach. And it is really an approach where we want to test in real-life conditions new solutions to actual problems, challenges, needs, ambitions, visions. And it's driven by strong partnership and strategic use of resources. And again, the strong partnership and the strategic use of resources links very well into smart specialization strategies and the need for cross-border collaboration. We've heard a lot about the triple helix collaboration here, public sector with industry, with universities and research centers. But let's not forget that there are others out there who can be part of the equation. I said there are many creative elements that can bring a lot to the emergence of new industries, of looking at old value chains in a new way and bringing value chains together. And then, as my former head of unit said, for good measure, don't forget not to bring the bishop to the table as well. You may need his blessing. Now, just to give you a brief overview of this new activity, it has a code name where you can find it on the Horizon 2020 participant portal. We have a, for us, very large budget for the programming period of 140 million, which translates into, for 2015, a billion or almost 25 million euro. And with that money, we expect we can support between 5 to 10 projects. This procedure is also a bit different from the usual Horizon 2020 procedures in that it's a two-stage submissions procedure. So in the first stage, you have to submit what we call a concept note of maximum 10 pages, where you have to convince us that your vision of how you can collaborate across sectors, across borders, to implement your smart specialization strategies will add value, will add growth, will create jobs in the regions and areas concerned. And based on those concept notes, there will then be a selection, a shortlisting of a number of applications that will then be invited to submit full proposals where you will have to go into budgets and operational details, etc. But first of all, we want to make sure that we understand the concept. And there's a deadline at the end of April next year where the concept notes are due. And then there will be a deadline for the second phase for those who go to the second round to submit their full proposals by the 9th of September next year. Under Horizon 2020, the standard eligibility criteria apply, which means there's a wide variety of organizations that can be the applicants, but we have to have 3 partners from 3 different countries. And also the normal funding rates apply, 70% funding from our side, so there's a need for 30% co-funding, except in the case of non-profit organizations where the funding is at 100%. I think the main difference from many other activities under Horizon 2020 is that this action is very much focused on supporting innovation in SMEs. And therefore, we have prescribed that at least 75% of the budget should be spent on supporting innovation in SMEs. And when we say that, we do not mean that you have to go out and find hundreds of SMEs and involve them as partners in your projects. Rather, to the contrary, we would like you to spend that money in terms of providing indirect support to SMEs, to provide this favorable environment where they can thrive and grow, where they can test out their ideas, find the right partners to develop these new ideas. So we're looking at how can you best support SMEs that are embarking on this journey towards becoming an emerging industry, to become part of new value chains. So we're looking at how can you best support them. Co-working centers, growth accelerators, incubators, innovation vouchers, knowledge vouchers, support for matchmaking, support for business model development, business plan competition, etc. We have not put any limits to the scope of the type of activities that you could develop to support the SMEs. We would rather that you look at the context again and say, what would be the best measures, the best approaches for us to apply to SMEs in our particular context, in the sectors or the areas that we want to address in our smart specialization strategies. So use your imagination, use your creativity, and see what is needed, and maybe test some new models that you have been thinking about but did not really fit into the program so far. Here's an opportunity to test out new methods of supporting emerging industries. I will stop there and just remind you that you can find more information on the EU Cluster Portal, where you also have information on all our other cluster activities, and then you also have the direct link to the participant portal, where you can find a very comprehensive background note where we set out in much more detail our vision for this action. We look very much forward to receiving applications from throughout Europe, and I know that many of you here are already toying with the idea, so put your thinking caps on and write some interesting, convincing concept notes that we can work with. Thank you very much.